Yippee-yay, there'll be no wedding bells for today.
Hello YouTube, this is going to be my second video. Today I'm going to be reviewing the Elite Force 1911 TAC as well as unboxing. So let's start with the unboxing. So the box is nice. It has green and yellow colors on the front, a picture of the pistol. So then when you open it up, just pull these two flaps back, you will see that you'll get a manual and some other information. This is a registration card to register your gun in case you need to apply for its warranty. This is just an Elite Force BB's flyer. And then this is just a card telling you that you do not return this to the store if there are any problems with the gun, that you would need to return it directly to Umarex USA. And then here's the manual, and it is a manual as well for the 1911 A1, as you can see up here, and the 1911 TAC, which I will be reviewing, is down here. And you can just see a picture. It gives you a description. It's CO2, it gives you general information, it gives you pictures, and it's a pretty good manual. It has, I believe it also has, yeah, it has all the instructions in separate languages in the back, and the English is very good on this manual. So that's a great manual to have. So then also in the package, obviously, you will have your Elite Force 1911 TAC, and you also get one 14-round capacity CO2 magazine. And the last thing is you will get an Allen wrench in a little baggie like this. Now, one thing I would like to mention before I start the review is, as you can see here, I have the standard grip panels that came with the Elite Force 1911 TAC, and I decided to purchase Magpul 1911 grip panels because they have much better texture, and I also believe that they look a little bit more aesthetically cool. And their texture is much better than these. These were getting slippery, and also, as you can see here, you can see a little bit different in the coloration. There's some sort of coating on these that was peeling off, and yeah, you can see that there, it's peeling off. So I just would recommend, it's pretty cheap. They're only $18 for the grip panels, and they make your 1911 tactical look much cooler in my opinion. Now, to start with the construction of the gun, it is constructed fully out of metal on the top slide and the bottom slide. The only polymer parts that I see are the grip panels. And as we can see here on the top, there's some nice Elite Force 1911 TAC trademarks and the Elite Force symbol. And then it says Safe and Fire right there. And then on the reverse side, we can just see a warning at the top there. And here it's a little hard to see because of the quality. But I have a unique serial number, which it's turned sort of gray because that's where I always rest my finger when I'm not firing, obviously. And then we also have another serial number over here, and it says Made in Taiwan. Now, to start with the front of the gun, you can see here that there is a threaded outer barrel, which is full metal and is painted orange, and it actually has threads that are 14mm counterclockwise that enables you to use mock suppressors, or if you make your own suppressor that's filled with foam, that it actually does suppress it. I've made one myself. Now, also on the front, you'll see that we have a front post sight. It has a white dot on it. I'll just give you a zoom of the sights right now. You can see it's very fast for target acquisition, and it's just those are very nice sights. Now, towards the middle of the gun, we again have our trademark, and then we also have a rail here on the bottom to attach accessories such as flashlights and lasers. And the trigger guard is full metal, and it's one piece with the lower frame. And we have a skeletonized trigger, and we have our magazine release right here. And this is the slide catch. We'll demonstrate later how to remove the slide catch to take apart your top slide from your lower slide. Now, at the rear of the gun, you can see that we have our rear blade sight. We have a skeletonized hammer. We have a functioning beaver tail safety. We have our ambidextrous safety. We have our grip panel, obviously. And we have down here a connection point for a lanyard right there. As you can see on the right side of the gun, we have the ambidextrous safety here, and there's a tiny screw here, which I believe that you can unscrew to take out the magazine release and put it on this side for if you are a left-handed shooter. Here we have the 14-round magazine that is included with the handgun. It is constructed fully out of metal, and well, as you can see all the wear and tear. And the gas valve is in the back, and the hammer strikes this when you pull the trigger, and the gas comes out of this rubber seal on the top. And to install a CO2 cartridge, it is pretty simple. I will demonstrate it a little later in the video, but you basically just place it in here, and you have to hold it with the left side up because it's thicker on the right side, so the CO2 cartridge won't fall out when you're screwing it in. And then I like to hold my fingers over the CO2 cartridge like this, and then you get the Allen key that is provided with the handgun, and you screw it in until you hear a small, very small little hiss, and then you keep screwing tighter until it's pretty snug, and then that's when you know your CO2 is installed and you're ready to fire. Now, to load BBs, this is a little bit difficult task if you've never had any experience with gas blowbacks, or if you're like me and you just couldn't figure out how to do it on your own. So basically, to load it, you have to pull down this follower right here. And you just get I have to always use my thumbnail, and you pull it down until you get past there, until you get past that fat spot, and then you pull it out towards you, and you let it rest up like that. So then you can load your BBs, and then just make sure you don't overload it. I found I'm able to fit 15 BBs, but 16 is pushing it, and then once you have your BBs in, you'll just push this back in, and your BBs will feed into your handgun when you're ready to fire. Being it is a gas blowback pistol, whenever you run out of ammo or you have a dry magazine, your slide will lock back like this. Now, unfortunately, on this model of the Elite Force 1911 TAC, you are unable to power slide it, or power slide it, where you just pull back like this on a real firearm and the slide goes forward. So in order to release the slide, you simply just need to press down the slide release here, and the slide goes forward. Now I'm going to demonstrate how to install the CO2 cartridge into your magazine. So basically, just take your cartridge and place it on your magazine. You may have to push the top lid underneath and into the puncture spot, and then, oops, as you can see, my screw is not pushed out far enough. I forgot to unscrew it. You have to unscrew it a little bit more, but just don't unscrew it too much, or it can be a little difficult to get the screw back in. So now, once you have your CO2 sitting in like this, nice and even on both sides, I like to hold it in like this, and then I just screw it in, and then once you feel that, you just go a little bit harder, and then when you hear the hiss, you just screw in a little bit tighter, and then you're good to go. Now, one issue that I found to have with my Elite Force 1911 TAC, and a few other people have had, is that as you can see here on the hammer, there used to be a slight ridge here. Excuse me, it's actually right here, and the slide was getting caught on it, so that the slide was locking back this far after every shot, and it was very annoying. And finally, I just did some researching, and I figured that you just needed to fix it by just sanding down the hammer a little bit. Now, in order to remove the top slide from the lower frame of your Elite Force 1911 TAC, you need to remove the slide catch pin right here by pushing out the pin when the slide is locked back to this second slide lock position right here. And when you have it cocked back in the half-cocked position, you need to simply push out this pin that's on the right side here, and then on the other side, pull it out like such. Then you just pull the top slide from the lower half forward like this, and it should just come off easily like that. To remove the top slide from the lower frame of the handgun, you'll see that you will have access to your hop-up unit now. Now you see it's this tiny little wheel. I don't think it'll be able to focus, but it's a tiny little wheel here, and I put it all the way to the right for no hop, and I do that because the best performance for this handgun with no hop up is .25 BBs, and I'm able to hit targets out to 150 feet. Now reassembly of the handgun is simple. You just take your top slide and your lower half, and you just line up where the black meets with the black here. See, hold on, let me get it. There we go. And you just pull that, and you pull it back again to the half cock position right there, and then you just insert in your pin like so. You just push it in, and then you let your slide lock forward, and then you're good to go. Now, one very cool feature I luckily found before I bought more of these short magazines is that Elite Force came out with extended 1911 magazines, and boy, are these things amazing. They hold, I found, about 30 rounds, and they can you can refill the BBs 3 times about for full CO2. So that's about 90 shots per CO2 cartridge, and that's excellent. And you can just spray with these magazines as long as it's not too cold out, because obviously the CO2 works better than green gas, but CO2 is still a gas, and you still have to let it cool down a little bit. So you basically just warm it up. Now, one thing to note with the screws on the extended magazines is that there was a manufacturing defect, and basically what they did is when they were cutting the top of the screw, it should be flat like this, and it was for the most part, except it was slanting down like this a tiny bit. And what that was doing is whenever you would screw in the CO2 into your magazine, it would push it out and it would spray everywhere for me. And it took me a while to figure it out. But then finally, my dad and I, we made a tool, and we put that in our lathe, and we basically, as you can see, it's perfectly flat all the way around, and it pushes the CO2 in perfectly. And basically, I will be doing this for $10. So message me if you would like me to do this to your screw, and you can mail it to my dad's shop, and we will do it for you for $10. In conclusion, this is a great CO2 airsoft pistol for a very reasonable price, in my opinion. The price of this airsoft pistol is only $120, and the extended magazines are running for $40 each. And also, if you're interested in getting just the short magazines, they are $30 each. And this pistol, it fires a little bit below about 348 FPS, so it's perfect for CQB. And its range, as I said earlier, is about 150 feet. And it's just such a phenomenal gun, and I would recommend it to any player. Again, just like the Apex R5 M12, to a beginner, an intermediate, or an experienced player. It's just such a great handgun, and since it's full metal, it's very durable, and I would recommend it to anyone. Thank you very much for watching this video, and there will be more videos coming soon, such as of my gear loadout and other airsoft videos. Thank you, and stay tuned.